You know, you could actually make the argument that it is child abuse to send your kid to public schools because you're basically sending them to a gun-free zone. A gun-free zone is a criminal empowerment zone. A criminal empowerment zone is a victim creation zone. So actually, you can make the argument that if you are sending your children to public school, you are committing an act that puts the life of that child in danger. Hey guys, before I get into today's video, here's a shout out for this video's sponsor. When the shit hits the fan and the power goes out, one of the things you're going to need is an ultra bright flashlight and a power bank to charge your devices. This is the Indoor Outdoor Light Bug Work Light. It's got a solar panel to turn sunlight into storable, usable energy, or you can charge it with a regular wall outlet. The adjustable bracket allows you to hang it, hold it in your hand, or get the perfect light angle on a table. It comes in handy for car repair, fishing, hunting, and camping. And check this out. I fully charged this thing, turned it on, and left it on the counter, and it shined for over 5 hours. Grab a couple of them for family and friends. Your link is in the description. What do you guys make of this reported Michigan shooting? Let me tell you where I stand on it. I just maintain a posture where I don't believe one frickin' word mainstream media says anymore. Especially after that thing that happened on September ... 2001. Especially after that. Especially after weapons of mass destruction and the vial of anthrax and this country's going down. If you're not with us, you're with the terrorists. We're going to initiate this war on terror, which became a war on you and me. And now we have the Department of Homeland Security. An offshoot of that is the TSA, $9 billion a year for security theater. And now we got to show our papers every time we get on an airplane. And now they want us to show our papers anytime we want to go out to eat or go to a bar or go to a restaurant or go see a movie. Eventually, they want it to be where you go to a shopping center. Maybe, hey, you got to have your VAXX passport before you cross state lines. Who knows? So I don't trust anything that comes out of what they say. I don't know who these people are right here. I don't know what happened over there in Michigan. I'm not denying that something did happen. I'm not saying HOAX or anything like that, but all I know is whatever this is, it doesn't end for our good. It doesn't end up strengthening our freedoms. It doesn't end up with more money in our pockets. It just doesn't work like that. These narratives, no matter if these are the true players in this, even whether they're CIA assets or whether they're just regular people who made harebrained mistakes or whatever. But I do see this being used as some kind of propaganda projection that will be laid at the feet of the rest of us. Guilty till proven innocent. So James and Jennifer Crumbley, they face 4 manslaughter charges each and are non-guilty pleas after being found hiding in a warehouse. Says Michigan shooting, suspects' parents held on $1 million bond after capture. It's really $500,000 each. But it says an extensive manhunt was launched on Friday. A manhunt for people who did not actually commit the crime. That's what we're talking about here, okay? According to them, a manhunt for people who did not actually commit the crime. There's no evidence that they initiated the committing of this crime, if indeed their son committed the crime. Not saying he did. I'm not saying he didn't. I maintain just this posture of, I'll read what you got, but I ain't going to believe it. Not until I can verify it for myself. An extensive manhunt was launched on Friday after the Crumleys failed to attend their original arraignment. U.S. Marshals announced, there we go, feds, crossing state lines, transgressing whatever would have been the 10th Amendment. That means they're violating their constitutional rights. But then you could say, well, states are receiving federal funding, so they feel obligated to have the U.S. Marshals have their way. When some incident like this happens, the state and local police kind of back off and hand the reins over to the CIA or the FBI or the DEA or whoever. U.S. Marshals announced a reward of up to $10,000 each. Police say the Crumleys were caught hiding in a commercial building on Saturday. Prosecutor Karen McDonald said the Crumleys, quote, could have stopped the shooting, adding that there was a strong likelihood that they would be convicted. Jennifer Crumley cried as she was asked about the charges, but her husband James remained non-emotional. Judge Julie Nicholson assigned a bond of $500,000 each and other requirements such as an ankle bracelet, GPS monitoring. Nicholson says, these charges are very, very serious. There's no question about that. The court does have some concern about the flight risk with the public safety, given the circumstances that occurred yesterday and the fact that defendants did have to be apprehended in order to appear for purposes of arraignment. This, by the way, everything that we know about this is being filtered through fake stream, mainstream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media. That should disturb every single one of us. That should actually back us off and go and cause us to fold our arms and go, all right, move me with evidence. Prove to me that what you're saying is true. If you can't prove it, if there's no evidence, I don't believe you. Period. That's how you keep yourself out of danger. That's how you keep yourself checked out of the cult of personality. Republican, Democrat, sorry, what did you say? I'm deaf. I'm deaf to that. I'm blind to that. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm right. I'm not even in the middle. I'm just a silent observer. What you got? Where's your evidence? That's all I want. I'm not going to be painted by anything else. That keeps you out of the pitfalls of cognitive dissonance. That keeps you locked out of the echo chamber. Evidence, evidence. Prove your assertions. Accusation without substantiation and assertion without a substantiation is the height of ignorance. The Crumleys were captured early on Saturday in a building that housed artwork. The Detroit police chief, James E. White, we can believe him. You can believe everything the law enforcement man says. He's the authority. Really? Told reporters the Crumleys attorney. See, it's so funny is like the news will package this and just spit all this information as though it were actual fact. Take our word for it. They were captured in a building that houses artwork because we said so. Really? You got any video? Is there any video evidence of that? And even if there was video evidence, who are the Crumleys? Are they beholden to anybody? Are they on the payroll of anyone? This is why it's so important to have independent journalists who could get it wrong. And if they do get it wrong, guess who calls them misinformation and disinformation agents that need to be obliterated from all of social media? Fake stream media, who works in concert with the social media oligarchs from the Silicon, because it is a con, the Silicon Valley technocracy. The Crumleys' attorney Shannon Smith said Friday that the pair left Oxford, quote, for their own safety and were to return to face charges. White said this isn't indicative of turning yourself in, hiding in a warehouse. White said the couple, quote, were aided in getting into the building and that person could face charges. Oh, yeah. Yep. These people who they initiated an extensive manhunt for didn't harm anybody, so far as we know. On Saturday afternoon, they were hunting them because of what their son did. And they think that it could have been stopped. So they are going to hold them ransom for $500,000. On Saturday afternoon, the Oakland County Sheriff, Michael Bouchard, told reporters, quote, we have enough early indications that clearly somebody helped them into that location and made it available to them. It was also revealed that the Crumleys withdrew $4,000 from an ATM. What's this? Mass surveillance. Oh, look, they just used their card. They just went to an ATM. They just pulled out $4,000. This is okay. This is acceptable in society where we can learn this. Hey, the banking institutions are working together with the fake stream media, is working together with law enforcement who are there to only serve and protect, right? Bouchard says that, Brian, you're being too cynical, man. Just too cynical. Really, think cynical next time you think about the Kentucky gun range. Oh, they're bombing Syria, ABC assured us. Think cynical the next time you think about how many people actually died on 9/11. And then how many more died after that. And how many trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars we spent. And how many freedoms we lost under the unpatriotic Patriot Act. Think about that the next time you think about being the Obamacare plan, the Affordable Care Act, they told us. Affordable? You just spent $1.8 billion on a website, healthcare.gov, that didn't work. Think about cynical next time you think about those very few things. Think about cynical next time you think about, in 2009, CNN said that Pfizer was too big to nail and they're a corrupt, fraudulent organization. And now all you hear is, you better take the jab. You better bow down at the altar of Jabbo. If you don't, you can't get your freedoms back. You want your new normal? Well, here, you're going to have to get... And that's not enough. 6 months have passed and you're expired. Now you need another... Cynical. Brian, you're just too cynical. That's your problem. Let your guard down. Relax, dude. Take a breath. Believe fake stream, mainstream, CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra media will do you some good. Go to the mountains. Suck some air, and then you'll be able to lay at the feet of Brian Stelter and just believe everything that he tells you. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'd rather, dude, I'd rather not, dude. Bouchard said that there was no talking, no communication between the three Crumleys, saying each was being held in isolation. Bouchard said Ethan Crumley, quote, wouldn't have been, let's see, I want to go down here. McDonald filed involuntary manslaughter charges against James and Jennifer Crumley on Friday, accusing them of failing to intervene on the day of the shooting. You should have done this. You failed to do something. We're not getting you for doing something. We're getting you for failing to do something. You didn't commit a crime. You just kept a crime from being committed, which almost sounds like we're going into Minority Report pre-crime. If I could only have gone back in time. Despite being confronted with a drawing and chilling messages. Guys, there are chilling messages trending on the top of the Silicon Valley technocrats cause chilling stuff to top trend every single day, disturbing crap to trend every single day on Google YouTube trends. So if you're going to hold parents responsible for not confronting a drawing that with a chilling message, then shouldn't Silicon Valley be held responsible for the mass dissemination of chilling messages every single day that warp the minds of our children? And one specific thing that warps the minds of our children that goes to this TRANS thing that you can't talk about anywhere on social media, because as soon as you utter it, boom, you're shut down. Get that guy out of here. We can't have that kind of stuff. If a kid latches on to that, what do you call it? What should we call it? The D is amazing. Drag Q story hour. The TRANS. If kids started internalizing that by their own documentation, by their own research, they say kids are 40% more likely to commit suicide than people who don't involve themselves in that. I would say that that's mental terrorism on our young people. So if this can be laid at the feet of this kid's parents, you should have done something to stop. You should have intervened. You should have confronted the kid about the drawing with the chilling message. Then the same thing should be able to be laid at the feet of the technocracy coming out of Silicon Valley, right? Because they're spreading a whole bunch of messages, not that just one, that's messing up a whole bunch of people, an entire generation of people for generations to come. And these are YouTube videos that get 10, 20, 30 million views in 2 weeks. I'd say that's pretty far reaching. I would say that's pretty chilling. The Crumleys, look what they said. The Crumleys committed egregious acts. Let's see. What constitutes in their minds an egregious act? Oh, it says here, from buying a gun. Egregious act. What's the message? What's the narrative? What's the twist? What are they trying to tell you? What are they trying to embed in propagandized form into the minds of the masses? That an egregious act, buying a gun, is an egregious act. And making it available to their son, to resisting his removal from school when they're summoned a few hours before the shooting. You know, you could actually make the argument that it is child abuse to send your kid to public schools, because you're basically sending them to a gun-free zone. A gun-free zone is a criminal empowerment zone. A criminal empowerment zone is a victim creation zone. So actually, you can make the argument that if you are sending your children to public school, you are committing an act that puts the life of that child in danger. But it's legalized. It's sanctioned by the state. It's applauded by fake stream media and all who drink the Kool-Aid. It's applauded, so nobody sees it. That's why Krishnamurti's statement is so important. It's no measure of good mental health to be considered well-adjusted to this profoundly sick society. You can literally make an ironclad argument that it is child abuse to send your kids to the death mills of public school areas, public school properties. Can you think of a more dangerous area? Can you think of any more dangerous zone on American soil or the soil of any country than a gun-free, criminal empowerment, victim creation, fish in a barrel zone? I mean, what other metaphors do we need to use here? Remember the fish in the barrel? You go to the fair and it's like all the fish are right there, and they're this big school of fish. You're almost guaranteed to hit something. Just close your eyes and just pull that trigger. Unless you're Alec Baldwin, then you don't pull the trigger. You just kind of cock back the hammer, and then somehow a fish just dies. I don't know what happened. No, you got to understand, I didn't pull the trigger. Yeah, a case can be made for child abuse, for sending your child, stressing them out, and then going, oh my God, I send my kid to a death zone. That's what a gun-free zone is. I send my kid to a death zone, and guess what? Death visited the death zone. So why wouldn't the answer be, hey, the problem isn't the gun. The problem is putting your kids in a death zone where criminals are empowered and victims are created and fish die. So buying a gun is an egregious act. Making it available to their son is an egregious act. So there's two things there. Buying a gun and making it available to your son or daughter is an egregious act. Egregious. Almost every article used this lady's words. Pound it into him. Drive it into him. To resist his removal from school, when they were summoned a few hours before the shooting, McDonald said on Friday, offering the most precise account so far of how the shooting happened at the Oxford High School around 30 miles north of Detroit on Tuesday. Ethan Crumley, 15, is alleged to have emerged from a bathroom with a gun and shot students in the hallway. They had an opportunity, according to reports, to check his bag. They knew he was a problem kid. They knew there were red flags going off, but they didn't check his book bag? Really? That seems awful convenient. That almost seems like an egregious act on the part of the faculty at that school. Did they hunt them down? That was an egregious act, it seems like. He is charged as an adult with murder, terrorism, and other crimes. The officials had become concerned on Monday when a teacher saw Crumley searching for ammunition on his phone. Oh, that's always... That's a point of concern. Guys, when I grew up, and probably some of you in the audience, when you grew up, did you ever have, when you went out into the parking lot and you saw some of the trucks of the guys in the school, I don't even know if it was, any of the girls did this, but there'd be shotguns and rifles on a gun rack in the back window. You ever remember when you were growing up in the 70s and 80s, school shootings happening? No, you didn't. But then people weren't, for the most part, kids back then weren't strung out on pharma drugs like Ritalin. I wonder if this kid, Ethan Crumley, if indeed it all went down the way fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird MK Ultra Media says it went down, was he on big pharma? Big pharma drugs that alters your mind. One of the side effects for a lot of these drugs is the tendency to want to commit, you know what? But we're not going to blame Big Pharma. That seems pretty egregious. To put your kid and to knowingly, you even have it on your big, 3x6 sheet, information sheet of adverse side effects on page 32. Also includes the possibility that you could get so depressed that you want to end it all and maybe end the lives of other people. Anybody going to do an investigation into Big Pharma? Oh, that's right. Even if they found that Big Pharma was guilty, there's not going to be any legal repercussions against them because they're protected, thanks to Mr. Republican Ronald Reagan back in 1986. Thanks, Ronnie. Thanks, Ronnie. We knew you could pull through for us. Officials had become concerned on Monday when a teacher saw Crumley searching for ammunition on his phone. His mother was contacted. In a text message, she told her son, LOL, I'm not mad at you. You have to learn not to get caught. What's the context? Oh, the context is him searching for ammunition on his phone. That's not criminal activity, guys. Searching for ammunition on your phone is not criminal activity, but they want you to look at it as though it's an egregious act. On Tuesday, a teacher found a note on Ethan's desk. It was a drawing of a gun pointing at the words, "The thoughts won't stop. Help me." Could he have been trolling? You know, people are known to troll. I don't know. Maybe he was truly mentally disturbed. I don't even know if I don't know. For all we know, this guy named Ethan doesn't exist. I don't know if he does or he doesn't. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm not saying he does. This is just what they're telling us. There also was a drawing of a bullet with the words above it, blood everywhere. Between the gun and the bullet was a person who appeared to have been shot twice and was bleeding. Crumley also wrote, "My life is useless and the world is dead." If it's true, that sounds like the kid is screaming out for some help. What would be the answer then? Get him some help. Not go, okay, what kind of gun did he use? Sig Sauer? Okay, we need to vilify the Sig Sauer and criminalize all who hold it. You know that's where we're going. They don't just want you, they don't want to take the scary black AR-15s and AK-47s. That's not just what they want to take. They don't want you to be armed at all. Kind of like Australia. Wonder what let's see, I wonder what would happen to a nation if you took away all their firearms. Oh, they start building concentration camps. Oh, they start building 2,000 room facilities to take people against their will. They don't call them prisoners. They're doing it for the sake of public health. Hey, we're doing this for your safety and we're doing this for others. That's what happens when you start taking firearms away from countries. Or look at New Zealand. Oh my God, we have one case. Lock it down. Lock her down. There she blows. One case. That's it. Lock all 4 million of them down. Wow. The school met with Ethan and his parents, who were told to get him counseling within 48 hours. The Crumleys failed. Get him counseling here's how you should conduct the affairs of your family. Guys, public school is bad news. This is not healthy to have public school agents of the state, basically telling you how you need to operate things in the next 48 hours with your family. The Crumleys failed to ask their son about the gun or check his backpack, and so did the faculty fail to do that, apparently, according to reports, and resisted the idea of their son leaving the school at that time. He returned to class. Well, is that just the parents' fault? It's like if you didn't want the kid in your school, if you thought he was a threat to the rest of the kids in there, it wouldn't matter if the parents wanted the kid to come back to the school. The faculty could go, well, get security and get him out of here. He doesn't need to be here. Blaming it all on the parents. The notion that a parent could read those words and also that their son had access to a deadly weapon that they gave him is unconscionable. It's criminal. Projection, propaganda. Mwah. Jennifer Crumley texted her son after the shooting saying, "Ethan, don't do it." James Crumley called 911 to say a gun was missing and Ethan might be the shooter. The gun had been in an unlocked drawer in the parents' bedroom, McDonald said. Ethan accompanied his father. How did they know that? Did the parents give up that kind of information, or what's the deal there? Ethan accompanied his father to buy the gun on November 26 and posted photos on social media saying, "Just got my new beauty today." Over Thanksgiving, Jennifer Crumley wrote of a, quote, mom and son day testing out his new Christmas present. Asked if the father could be charged for purchasing the gun for the son, McDonald said that would be a federal decision. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the precedent they want to set here? Charge the father for buying the son a firearm. When there's a Second Amendment in our land that's supposed to be the supreme law of the land, right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Let's just go ahead and infringe it anyway. The head of the Oxford Community School says the high school looked like a war zone. Superintendent Tim Throne also acknowledged the meeting of Crumley as parents and officials said no discipline was warranted. McDonald's was asked about the decision to keep Crumley in school. Quote, "Of course, he shouldn't have gone back to that classroom. I believe that is a universal position. I'm not going to chastise or attack, but yeah, the investigation is ongoing." In a statement on Saturday, the Crumley's attorney said, "Unfortunately, this case presents the most unimaginable tragedy for every single person involved, but the charges in this case are intended to make an example and send a message." I agree. The prosecution has very much cherry-picked and slanted specific facts to further their narrative to do that. And I bet you anything, if this goes to court, it'll be publicly televised. Whereas Ghislaine Maxwell, no. Jesse Smollett, no. We're not going to televise those things. Because any finding of guilt for Jesse Smollett, well, that would just open a whole big can of worms that the leftist fake stream media doesn't want to deal with. Same thing with the Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm sure that's going to open a can of worms on the left and right side of media and in government circles. So I want to know what you guys think about this. To me, it seems like this is a propaganda push to project this problem, this egregious criminal activity on everybody and using the Crumleys to do it. They're the fall guys. They're the ones we want to use to set as a precedent. And you guys and me are going to be the ones that are going to carry that burden for the rest of your lives. Leave your thoughts about this. I want to hear what you have to say. While we have time and it still retains some of its perceived value, maybe it'd be a good idea to convert your worthless fiat into valuable, storable food. Don't be the one who waits till the food riots start happening. You don't want to be fighting panicking people in the store over that last jar of peanut butter. At Prepare with High Impact Flicks, you can get up to 3 air and watertight gasket-sealed ammo cans, each filled with a 4-week emergency supply. 7 food varieties, 2,000 calories a day, 284 servings, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and each meal comes in a resealable, heavy-duty 4-layered pouch. And it's got a 25-year shelf life. Every order of a 4-week supply gets you $100 off plus free shipping. Here's how simple it is to make. I'm going to cook up some Granny's home-style potato soup. People are going to think I'm a culinary hero. You open the pouch, boil 4.5 cups of water, stir the contents, simmer on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes, take it off the heat, then let it set for 2 to 3 minutes before you serve it up.
Man, this stuff's so good. People are going to think Granny stopped by and filled your kitchen with a whole bunch of love.
Well, if Granny does stop by, she's going to fill your behind with a whole bunch of buckshot if you keep talking with your mouth full. Wipe your dang beard off. It's embarrassing. So maybe convert some of your worthless fiat into valuable food while you still can. Order now and get $100 off of up to 3 4-week emergency food supplies at preparewithhighimpactflix.com. The link is in the description.